he won't say anything again, especially after knowing that I'm a minor. But no, this is not the end to Mr. Creep. He decides to come up to me yet again. Before deciding to come up to me the second time, he would always watch me from a distance, and not just saying that to be like, oh, they're watching me, whatever, but you can always tell when someone is creepily watching you. And every time I would move to a different station in the gym, he would be there right after. So eventually he talks to me again, and obviously I'm very nice to him because I'm not trying to start problems, even though he is a really...
Me and my friend like, oh my god, like this is the end, we're getting kidnapped. At this point we were so far ahead we could barely see him. Like, we could see him a little bit, but like there was no way he was catching up to us. So we were literally around the corner from our friend's house, so we also felt really safe as well. Then literally, I swear to you, all of a sudden we hear cop cars and fire sirens like from every single corner from where we were. Every single cop car and fire truck literally went to the old citizens' home.
Getting at me since the very start. You're whispering my name and laughing behind my back, and now you're touching my back the entire time? This is just not funny. When the rest of the class figured out something was going on. Guys were trying to get us to fight. We were waiting for the train, and that's when one of the guys, who was supposed to be my friend, said, Selma, calm down. But Peter, thank you so much for getting involved. The entire time they're bullying me, you're silent? And now I'm standing up for myself, you're suddenly gonna speak up?
I just want to tell you about the story because, like, I never got to tell you my side because you wouldn't talk to me after. And this is what really happened. Like, I don't know what you heard. If you heard, like, I was talking to him or what. Like, I wasn't talking to him. He literally sat up in the back of the room. We weren't even close. Like, nothing happened. And after I told her, like, nothing happened, like, I don't understand, like, why she was mad at me. Tried to, like, talk to her about it. Now that she, like, kind of, like, was chill, she was pissed. And not pissed at her boyfriend, pissed at me. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't really bring it up again. We talked for, like, the next week after, and I didn't think anything was wrong. But then she started acting weird, not answering my snaps. I was like, why the fuck aren't you answering my snaps?
Hey, it's me.
As soon as you start, like, telling everyone, like, you're okay, you just start crying. So at that point, I'm already crying. But everyone's, like, all my friends are, like, coming around me. They're like, yo, what happened? And Allie's like, she's just really scared for her tryouts. When in reality, that was not why I was crying. And my sister has just brought this to my attention that I sound really fake and, like, ingenuine about my sadness. But I just don't know how to tell a story, like, being sad. Like, I'm not a serious...
He had came out, he just started arguing with us. And I was like, we were all just sitting there, like, not saying nothing. Because, like, what do you expect us to say? I mean, none of us understand him. But he was saying how I posted a story time about him on my TikTok and how I need to stop making videos about him. He was also like, how do you speak Spanish on TikTok but you don't even understand what I say? Like, oh babe, it's not just me that doesn't understand you. Nobody understands you. The Spanish teacher doesn't understand you. You expect me to understand you? No. Anyways,
hung out for a bit, and then I was like, actually, I'm not feeling too well. I'm gonna go home. He's like, cool, I'll walk you to the bus. This Charlotte Tilbury Bronze, it's my absolute fucking fave. Walks me to the bus. I'm like, babe, do you want to have that little... He was like, oh yeah, let's do that. We're walking to the bus in the middle of the fucking day, smoking down this alleyway. As I see at the end of the alleyway, a police officer turns into the alleyway. I quickly discard the you-know-what, and I'm in sheer fucking panic. I'm like, right, okay, let's speed up. We need to get to the bus now.
So we all have to get along. The reason why she said that was because she thought that I didn't get along. Part 2 about how I had a thing with my stepbrother. So like I said, my dad and her sat us down and she goes, Mike and I are dating now, da-da-da-da-da. And she was like, so we all have to get along now. Because she thought that I didn't get along with some of her kids, and her kids did not respect my dad at all. So like I said, Tyler and I were dating at this point, and I freaked out. I was like, you guys can't start dating because Tyler and I are dating. And Kayla was like, what?
Everyone is gonna die and no one is gonna remember you, so fuck it.
We're just gonna call the younger brother Mac. So he talked to Mac, and then everything was fine for a week. Just a little information real quick. For the public school, the bus would arrive at 7:40. My private school started at 7 o'clock. So my mom would come and get me at 6:15 because my school was kind of far away. So like I said, it was a week later. Every morning that I would go outside to wait for my mom, Mac would be standing on his porch watching me. Oh, but it gets worse. So one night I was in my bedroom, right? And this is like some scary movie shit. I kept seeing something run.
Pray no other girl ever has to go through it. Anyways, NYPD ends up picking me up literally off the street. I'm scared, I'm shaking, I'm crying. They take me to a station, and I obviously reported everything, and I'm still waiting to see like what they say, like what's happening, if I need to go to court or something. So I'll definitely keep you. I think I'm gonna start a YouTube because I also have a
This I hadn't. And obviously, like, I tell him no because I'm not gonna lie. And at this point, like, I just want him to, like, not kiss me because maybe, like, me saying that would have made him not kiss me. And then he was like, do you want to have your first kiss? And I said, I don't know. And then he asked to kiss me. And obviously, like, if I say no, it's gonna be awkward. So I just said yes, and then he kissed me. And then I'm pretty sure after he kissed me, I said thank you. Yeah, don't ever do that, guys. Don't ever say thank you. And then finally,
18-year-old me having a full breakdown next to this roadman who was just like, whatever. Made an absolute fool of myself. I was like, no, Sally, I'm sorry. Honestly, I gave such a performance and apologised so much. I think the police officer just felt so sorry for me. It was just like, look, I'm going to give you a warning. This is a caution. If I ever catch you doing anything like this again, you're going to prison. I was just like, police officer walked off and left us whilst I'm still.
They trying to be. They trying to be. She wanted me.
People thought I was like this mean, stuck-up person, but in reality, I just didn't talk to y'all because that's the stuff you'd make up in your free time. Grinding, doing my sports, doing my own grades, having my own little group of friends, and people would just pray on my downfall. That's why I literally never come back to my hometown, but I hope you guys have a great day. My makeup is done. I'm gonna go to the mall with one of my only friends from my hometown. So yeah, peace out. Love you. Bye.
Hey guys, get ready for me while I give you guys a story time on my first kiss.
Like I said, it was traumatizing. I probably left out a lot of details because I've been trying to block most of it out of my memory. I also have ADHD, so I get my stories jumbled up a lot. It's just how I am. But yeah, thanks for watching. I wasn't expecting this to blow up, but thank you all.
Before we get started, please ignore the hair. The braids are coming. I'm getting new.
I'd been flirting with this guy that she knew that I liked, and then she starts dressing like me and getting more popular, which I didn't really care because I was still her best friend. Mainly because she didn't really have any other friends. So fast forward, vacation comes around and we all go to Hawaii. We had the best time ever. And then we come home and I barely hear from her. Like, I was putting in all the effort, texting her every day, and her responses were dry as fuck. And then she had this boyfriend named Brendan, which I guess that could have been the reason why she wasn't talking to me as much. Because, you know, you get into a relationship and all of your folks.
I was shitting myself. I didn't want any of this. And then bearing in mind, I was going on holiday with 3 of her friends. I didn't even know these girls. Was I mad? Was I actually mad? Yes, clearly. So, I've gone on holiday with this girl. The trip is good or whatever. I think only one of her friends knew what actually happened, but her other friend was a bit of an enabler and she was trying to say that I was over.
Got me grounded. So a little background information, I was 16 and I was a freshman in high school, and my parents were extremely strict. Now, of course, there was the usual no hanging out with boys, no hanging out with anybody on the weekdays. Well, my parents took it a step further. Actually, no, they took it like 10 miles further. I got my phone taken every night at 6 o'clock, even on the weekends, and my friends were only allowed to come over for 8 hours exactly on the weekends. And they had to have a ride to and from my house.
Right? And he like starts apologizing for like literally causing this fucking scene, yelling at me about it, and then he offers to pay for my stuff. Again. Y'all, he just would not take no for a fucking answer. So he buys the stuff again, and then had the audacity to then ask me, oh, well then, can I get your number? I go, aren't you trying to talk to my sister? And he's like, no, sir. I get in my car and I left. Y'all, when I tell you I never went back to that gas station again.
On a boss or manager ever, but he started flirting. And I didn't even know he looked at me like that because I was like kind of younger than him, so I thought he doesn't look at me like that, like I'm just a little girl to him. But apparently not. Long story short, we kissed in his car. And sometimes we would sneak kisses in like the back.
Cousins playing the video game. So I go downstairs, and as soon as I get down the stairs, all of his cousins look at me and they give me the look of like, oh shit, she is not supposed to be here right now. And then I see the bathroom door closed with the light on. So I walk over, open the door, and what do I see? A girl from our school giving my boyfriend head. Well, my ex-boyfriend, but still, he was my boyfriend. So I didn't even give her time to get up before I started wailing on her. A few punches and kicks later, my boyfriend starts screaming in pain. After that, I got kicked out of the house.
Know what she was thinking, I know what I wanna see. Bust that pussy open, then I tell her bring it back.
He wasn't working there because so creepy. And turns out he was also following me on Instagram. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the end of the story. Nothing really happened from there, thank goodness. But let me tell you, this guy's like Instagram was creepy. He had like pictures of him standing in his room holding like a bottle of alcohol. Not sure why. And it was like one of those accounts with like 2 followers and a creepy profile picture of an old man. So, but yeah, that's the end of the story. So
okay, but like, what? Like, that was just weird. And I don't think she would have told me that she was behind that account if I didn't confront her. And imagine if I actually did send her those pictures. Like, God knows what she would have done with that. Because genuinely, that girl was just pure evil. And I don't know what the point of that was and what her goal was, but this bitch scares me. She scares me. And mind you, that was one of the points why I stopped being her friend. Like, I feel like if I had sent her those pictures, she would have sent that to the whole school. But of course,
asked if she wanted to come over, and her dad answered the door and said that she was gone. Like for part 3. Part 3 about my super creepy neighbors. So like I said, I became best friends with their daughter, but the one day I went over her house to ask if she wanted to come over, and her dad answered the door and said that she was gone. And when I asked when she would be back, he was like, she went to go live with her mom, so probably never. Which was super weird because she never mentioned that she had another mom. So fast forward 2 months, my family and I are sitting around the fire pit when we hear someone scream help. But we weren't sure if that's what—
content in my life right now, like very, very content in my life right now. And I feel like I just don't need someone's ratchet ass son fucking it up for me. I do think I'm immune to manipulation, but I'm not immune to being pissed the fuck off. Okay, that's all. Bye.
I saw one of the mutuals talking about this, and now I want to talk about it. I've never had a boyfriend. I've never kissed somebody. I've never held hands with somebody. I've never been asked.
Gross. It was basically one of those situations, like, I literally could not look at myself. And everyone in my real life is like, yeah, you probably shouldn't have done that, but it's really not that big of a deal. But to me, it's that big of a deal because I can't believe I'm capable of, like, doing that. And he said it didn't hurt his feelings, but, like, it would have hurt my feelings. And the fact that I did, I'm not going there. Moving on Valentine's Day, my mom called me and was like, where are you at? And I was like, home. And she was like, I heard you on a date.
It was weird. She didn't read too much into it because she's like, whatever. Maybe everybody was just severely hungover. So that couple wasn't trying to hang out with my parents that day. So my parents said, fuck them, let's go to Disney. So my parents drive to Orlando. They go to Disney for a couple nights. And they get back. Patty still isn't talking to my mom. And Dino's not talking to my mom either, but Dino is talking to my dad. Patty's talking to no one. So they go to the beach. Dino and my dad are talking. No one's speaking to my mom, minus my dad. At one point, I guess my parents are like, okay, we're gonna go get lunch. Do you wanna come? And they're like, no, we're good. And by them, I mean Dino said, no, we're good, to my dad. So they go for lunch. When they get back, the second they get back, the other—
It's still continuing. So then I tried to tell her the story, basically what I told him. And then she was like, no, why does this keep going? Like, she interrupted me. And I was like, do you want me to tell you? Or so, and then I didn't even get to really tell her. I was like, I don't know. And she was like, well, since you guys both don't know, they were gonna figure something out. I was like, okay. So after that, she had walked out, and I just kept telling the male teacher what had happened. And it was like 3:40 when I started telling him, and when I got sent to the office,
commenting on my TikToks about like all these rumors that apparently happened, and that I shouldn't have this platform, and that my life is going nowhere, and that I'm a bully and a liar. Katie Ritchie, Katie Fang, all of them say, if you have people from your school making hate accounts just for you, no, you're doing something right. And obviously, like, everyone's had their fair share of scandals. Like, yes, I've had things happen, but like, I'm literally an adult now, and I'm so past like my high school years, and I still have 4 months left. And it's just funny to me that people still cling to like things about me since like sophomore year. I'm a very quiet person now. I just stick to my own business.
Kitana wins. Flawless victory.
The car starts beating the shit out of me. So then one of his friends starts beating up that bitch too. So obviously the cops were called. My boyfriend went to jail. She also went to jail. And after that happened, my parents made me move schools. But after that, word got around that they were dating again. Good luck to the next bitch. Story time about how I got catfished and almost kidnapped. So because I just turned 18, I thought about signing up for a few dating apps. So I did. I matched with this really cute guy named Chris. And we chatted on the app for like 3 weeks.
You're such a bully. You don't belong here. Intelligence score of 100. You're so cool. Look at this article. You're getting praised everywhere. You're the first person in the world to reach an intelligence score of 100. So now, did everyone receive their intelligence? What? Wow, you look so beautiful today.
Morning, what the
People are deciding whether you stay or disappear.
Disappear?
Yeah, like...
2. Part 2 about how my boyfriend was seeing another girl behind my back. So like I said, I told him that we were going to have to do long distance and he was sad, but then he said that he could trust me. And like I said before, why the hell would I have to trust you? Because you should just be loyal in general, duh. So I'm like, hey, I want to spend time with you before I leave. Can we hang out? And he was like, oh, sorry, I have plans, but we can hang out later tonight. So I was like, okay, whatever. And a few hours go by. I never get a text from him or a call, nothing. So
I just flipped the switch.
I said yes. I met this girl in Soho on like a Thursday night and we went for some drinks. At this point I was only working part-time, so I said screw it, like let's meet up. Now when I tell you, when I met this girl, we bounced off of each other straight away. Like we just got on so well. I couldn't believe that this was a first meeting. Bearing in mind she was like 3 or 4 years older than me. I was 23 when I met her and I think she was 27. So I remember one of the things I asked her was, have you ever met anyone else from this app? And she said, I was literally just about to ask you.
I would have blocked him a long time ago, especially considering that he probably followed me months ago. And on this account, I don't really ever know who follows me unless like I just happen to see it. Because when you're getting a lot of notifications, they don't notify you for everything that happens. So I had no idea that this guy was even following me until someone pointed it out. And he was only following like 2 other girls from my school. So the fact that he even remembered me is like so creepy. So I just immediately blocked this guy and told my mom. And she even ended up calling the school to make sure.
I'm really fed up with her shit because she keeps following me around school, texting me saying she's gonna kill me, saying he got her pregnant, always says that he's been cheating on me with her. So my boyfriend pulls over the car and at this point I think it's a trap. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna let me get beat the fuck up. Well, he tells me to stay in the car. He gets out and walks over to her driver's door and tells her to get out of the car. So her and all her friends get out and one of her friends starts punching him. While he's distracted with that, his ex runs over to the car, opens the door and pulls out a fucking knife. Like for part. Make that pistol pop. Me feel. She just thought that saying sorry would make it all better. Story time about how my boyfriend was seeing another girl behind my back. So a little background information, I was living with my dad and I had just started a new school and I became really good friends with this group of kids. And in our friend group, there was this boy who we're gonna call Alex. And him and I hit it off like right away. We had been talking for 2 months. And by the way, during this whole time, his friends were telling me how much he loved me and how much he wanted to be with me. So eventually him and I started dating. And of course, like any
for today, I was gonna say the crazy part to this story, but I think the whole story has been crazy. Like, I feel like if I tell you that he broke up with me in a text that ended in, don't call me because I don't want to hear you cry, you wouldn't be shocked. Believe it or not, me and his ex actually became friends after we broke up because I needed someone to trauma bond with. The first thing out of her mouth when we finally talked was, he told you he had cancer, huh? Up until that moment, I thought he had fought cancer. And
So he keeps going on about it in the car, right? And then he's like, I'm not really 20, I'm 25 turning 26. So then for some reason after that, whenever he saw my mood change, this guy has the audacity to start touching my legs, fucking rubbing my inner thigh and shit. I kept telling him to stop. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? So then I told him I'm getting out of the car. And he says, I'm not gonna let you like for part 3. Part 3 of how I got sexually harassed twice while working at Walmart. So like I said, he wouldn't let me out of the car, but then we got back to work. And then he had the audacity.
At the price line I worked at, Sunday shifts only went for 3 hours. And when you work any less than 4 hours, you do not get a tea break, which meant that I did not have the opportunity to check my phone until after my shift. So I'm at work, I finish my shift, I get my stuff. I go to check my phone and I just have this sinking feeling. I checked my phone and I had a text from him saying, oh, I'm not going to be able to pick you up from work. The team want me to play a second game that I'm going to hang back for. Immediately, what? We weren't even officially dating. This boy was not my boyfriend. But when you are 17 and you like a boy and they say something like that to you, of course you get all flattered. So, I mean, at first I was a little freaked out, but then I was like, he said he's in love with me. No, ma'am, that is love bombing. Because there was a lot of that in the first couple weeks and then it immediately dropped off. Like, once he had me, he didn't have to try anymore. Now, this boy was quite cruel with his work.
High school. So everybody came to the party and everything was going good. Well, like an hour into the party, all the adults were super drunk. So before we all opened gifts, I decided to help my mom clean up dinner. So while I'm washing the dishes, I look over and my aunt and boyfriend are talking a lot. And she started to get really touchy with him, but I didn't think anything of it because she was super drunk. So after I'm done cleaning up, we all start opening gifts. And my boyfriend goes up to my room to go get his phone off the charger. And after he went upstairs, my aunt was like, oh, I